everyone, we're at the MetaWeek Day 2 and I'm very happy to introduce VESA, the Mixed Media Digital Artist. Hello!
Hello, Anna Maria. Nice to see you. Wonderful to be with you and talk about art and the metaverse and all good things.
Amazing. So VESA, can you tell us about your journey being the digital artist?
Yeah, sure. I started when I was 5 years old with my parents' pots and pans. I turned them into a drum kit and drove everyone insane in the house, of course. And then evolved from there to have some bands, and then I went to film, and I became a professional filmmaker. So through that, I did a lot of digital filming and digital post-production and those kinds of things, because that's right around the time in 2000 that analog was really transferring to the digital. And some people were saying that digital will never catch up, it'll be blah, blah, blah. And, then after being a filmmaker for about a decade, I had a crisis of everything, because I was sort of making things just to pay the production company bills, and that's not what I got into this for. I was admiring Ridley Scott and David Fincher and these A-list Hollywood super directors and the worlds that they generated. And then I realized that I could maybe body paint someone and photograph that process, and through NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, help them sort of transcend their state of mind, and maybe that's how I would capture something that would be really worthwhile. And then play with paint and do macro photography of paint and then put it together with Photoshop. And I realized that by doing that, I had sort of done something that no one else was doing. But that led into some trouble, because the art world, per se, they were asking me, where's your oil original? Where's your, what is your canvas? How can I buy the original? I don't want the copies. And I'm like, it's a file, it's a digital file. So before the age of NFTs, there really wasn't, I had to do different things like print them and paint on top of them and all those kinds of things, but I never really got to sell the originals. And then of course that's the reason why I was so early on NFTs and crypto art. And when I realized what Bitcoin was, how that was going to lead to NFTs and all those kinds of things, then I was full in 2017. So it was among maybe the first 4 or 5 artists to come into the whole space.
Wow, amazing. In your opinion, how art, and NFTs especially, are important to society?
Wow. Well, I mean, if you look at something that is our period right now, which could be easily maybe transferable to what was happening in Renaissance Italy, it was sort of in scatters, it wasn't a unified country. Money was, something that wasn't cohesive. So then you have the Medici family with a new innovation in money, and they had the vision to start funding the arts and the sciences and kind of everything that now, hundreds of years later, people still fly to Italy to go and experience what it was and how important the Renaissance was for the global culture, essentially. So now we have a world that is divided in so many different kinds of ways, and it's in sort of scatters, and now we have Bitcoin. So that's really the decentralized Medici family, whose purpose is to, if they should accept the responsibility, to fund the arts and the sciences and the awe. Because if you think, like, for example, the Catholic Church, one of the most powerful institutions in the world, and they used something that was divine inspiration, they packaged it together with art for money, power, prestige, awe, all of those different kinds of things, and art at that level provides you that kind of thing, but it really is about divinity. It's about our origins, and it's either that is now perceived to be garbage, or then it's the only thing that is really worthwhile about us to show what our existence is. So it depends, there's levels to the game.
In crypto industry, majority of people, they believe that in coming years, everything is going to be digitized. What do you think about this?
I'm not really sure how to approach that question. I mean, we're trying to find value in what we do. And I suppose that art, if anything, it's a search for value. Because again, in a similar kind of way, you can say that is completely worthless. What is this crypto punk? What are these digital bits? What is this thing? You will always have people who won't find the value, but if you do your best to kind of approach it holistically, to try and find different ways to give meaning to what it is that you do, and hopefully offer some new insights and perspectives. Like, for example, we do these art cars here in Dubai. Right now, there are 3 art cars in Dubai, as in that they're wrapped in art. And I'm hoping that in 2 years' time, there will be a very common thing in the streets of Dubai. and we will have transformed the way that people look at an object, not only how it takes you from A to B, but what it is as an investable asset, and how that can beautify our lives as we go along the way. And what does that transfer to? Can that be yachts? Can that be sort of planes? Can that be buildings? Can those buildings have digital doubles that do different things than what they do in the physical world? Can I build an art building in the metaverse that someone who's crazy enough here is going to put $1 billion into to build in the physical space? This is what the search for value can be, and I'm writing that as the best that I can to provide some new ideas.
Speaking about art, how does it affect your life?
Well, it's sort of this cliche thing that people say that, okay, something is a lifestyle. But it's so, like for the first 10 years of my career, even though I did big things like reached 300 million people with the Veena Malik project and BBC World, and like I had a lot of prestige and those kinds of things, but it was hard to monetize. So the first 10 years were financial hell. And it was that affected everything from my health, from sanity to whatever. And it's still an incredibly difficult game to play. But at its best, when I'm creating in my studio and I get connected to something that feels like bigger than me, or feels like something is coming through me, and in moments like this when we get to have a conversation and someone sees some of the artworks and they go, wow, and you know that you've enriched this experience somehow, because life is incredibly difficult for all of us, for a bunch of variety of different reasons, like health issues or family members die or whatever it is. If there's something that we can do that provides meaning to our lives, I think that's what it is. I have to love it, because any rational person would have given up by now. And I think that's the message for entrepreneurs. It's the same for, I don't know, inventors or whatever it is. It's so difficult that if you don't love it, you'll quit.
I wonder, how can you describe your art in 3 words?
Just one, transformative.
Great answer, I love it. Thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you
if
so
you
much.
have any maybe advice or message to our audience,
In one way or another, right now, because it feels like we're so divided and we focus on all the different things and how we're different, whether it's sex, race, gender, all those kinds of things that are ultimately sort of superficialities when it comes to ideas. And the next layer down from that would be love. And I think every human being needs that. We need to feel valued and appreciated, and we need to find the value to give to others to feel that. But it's to maybe focus on that a little bit more rather than all of our differences all the time. And I know that can sound incredibly naive. It can be something like, oh, coming from a high horse, whatever. Nothing like that. But every time I've had these experiences, that is a connection, an authentic connection between a human being, or you feel that we're part of this together, and how can we help one another or make the world a little bit more beautiful. I just want to connect with those people. I know that's not for everyone, but those are the ones that I want to hang around with. So
thank you so much, VESA, for the interview. I really, really appreciate it.
thank you so much, Anna Maria.